I don't spend that much time playing guitar kind of at home recreationally. There's two kind of ways I play guitar lately, because I just came off the road, so it's I don't run to the guitar. That's the great thing about the job, is that you get out the expression on the job. You know, most people have to work their job and then go out to get the expression, to get the kind of to get their soul to sing for a minute. I get to do both those at the same time. Lately, I play guitar if I'm really down, because it's such a life jacket for me. And then occasionally lately I pick up the guitar, because life gets a little crazy, and I pick up the guitar just to make sure it's still there. You know, I mean, my identity is based on playing guitar and singing. It's been that way since I was 13 years old, you know. And I'm 30 now, and I don't really know much outside of it. It's one of the few indulgences where if you do it too much, people don't tell you to stop. It's kind of a healthy addiction, you know. And when I stop doing it, it's nice to pick it up for a minute, hear myself play guitar again, and go, right. That's why you live in the house, you know. I always think about playing guitar, but I find lately that I do better. I don't know if the word is phrase is do better, but I'm a lot more in the moment when I don't play. If you ask a lot of guitar players, I think you'll find that they will say they play better when they put it down for a while, you know. Music is not a reflex, you know, and when you play a lot, certain things become hardened as reflexes. You know, Jeff Beck works on hot rods most of the year, and listen to him, you know. And today was really great for me because I hadn't played guitar in 2 or 3 months, and it was
literally not even just noodling
oh,
around
I pick
the
it up
house
and noodle, yeah. But it was great because I lost that reflex. I think the reflex is bad for you as an artist. I think when you get the cues down so well, you kind of close up the window of creativity a bit. So to pick up the guitar and really have free reign over it, because there's nothing that yesterday told you to do. I love it, actually. I mean, obviously there's exploration to be had by working at playing the guitar over and over again. But in terms of playing the Continuum record, which has been around for over a year now, longer actually, if you count how long some of these songs have been alive for, it's really cool to take a break, because you can pick up the guitar and not have those reflexes, not have those fallbacks, and make completely new choices. You know, in the middle of a tour, it's very difficult to make new choices every night, because so much of it gets turned into sort of a marked, kind of a blocked performance. You know, I don't know if you ever master the craft of writing songs. I think you can master the art of writing a record. But the thing about songwriting, and in some ways the thing about all the best forms of art, and this is what draws me in some ways to stand-up comedy, believe it or not. Mostly not believe it, but there's sort of this constant question of what are you doing now, you know. So a year ago I wrote Continuum, and I felt really great about that, you know, and I really feel like I mastered that record. I really don't feel any better or more experienced than any songwriter, anybody who's ever written a song. That's what's so great and connective about musicians, is that my experience with music is no different than anyone else's. To the artist who's playing in Austin every week and writing new songs just to have songs to play on stage, that is exactly the same science I'm in. You learn very little from each song that you write that you can bring into the next song. That's what's so maddening about it. And that's what's so equalizing about it between all musicians, and that's what's so true about it, no matter who you are, is that you may have done really well a year ago, but that craft only really responds to truth, you know? And you gotta stay truthful, and no matter how many records you've sold or performances you've played in front of how many people, you come home, the whirlwind stops, and you got 0 songs. And you go back to putting on your bow tie and your schoolboy outfit, and you go back to the craft, you know. My skin is taut. I'm 30, but I've been using lots of expensive creams. I parlayed my success into very expensive balms and salves since I was about 26. I don't think...
You're smarter, your sense of humor is
Oh,
much
no,
more
you know,
developed, all of those things that come with age, right, and maturity?
I'm not any better probably, but I know how to be better. You know, I know what it takes to be better. You know, so 30 is a good moment to kind of grab yourself by the bootstraps and get to being better. You know, I had a great 20s. You know, you probably saw that. Everyone probably saw the 20s, and it was great. I can't ask for a better 20s. And you know, you get successful really early, and it's about preservation. It's not so much about domination anymore. You know, it's about preservation, and that's really the newest kind of task I'm learning. Is how to keep what you've earned, how to keep kind of tilling it, turning it into more music, and not more chaos. You know, I'm really drawn to the challenge. I'm really drawn to the fight. I mean, creativity is the same fight for each and every artist. You know, and I don't want to consider myself exempt. I think you're kind of done when you consider yourself exempt from the fight. And I really want to get back to the street fight. So I want to take gigs, you know. I want to take gigs in places that people don't expect on a Tuesday night in front of 12 people. And, you know, unfortunately, it doesn't get more exciting than write a song and play it. And it's when you think it gets more exciting or more interesting that I think people start to turn away from you. When you imagine that, well, okay, my first 3 records, this is how I did it. There's got to be a 4th way to do it. There's not. You know, you just, it's about doing it more. You know, it's more exciting to me to play for a few people right now. I just feel like the process of starting over again, which you do every time you make a new record, you have to kind of, it's kind of a controlled demolition of what it was that you had. And maybe I'm a little, I don't know, maybe I'm covering for the fact that I'm frightened about how do I follow up a record with another record. I don't. I demolish it and follow up with a new first record. You know, I've never made a second record in my life. I make new first records, you know. And I'm excited to, you know, demolish Continuum. You know, there's a little bit of murder involved in art. You kind of have to, it's a little murderous, you know, you have to kill what it was that was so alive in order to find new life somewhere else, you know. The only way I know how to preserve myself is to start the process over again. I really am frightened by the process of making a record that people really enjoy or react to, that makes ripples in the world, and then go do it again. No. I'll start from 0 again. That I can do. To start from success and get more successful is the kind of the recipe for disaster. It's the recipe for unhappiness, you know. I'm not going to ever make Room for Squares Part 2 or Heavier Things Part 2 or Continuum Part 2, you know. It's some other thing Part 1, you know. I don't know the first time that I heard blues and said, that speaks to me, but whenever I have heard it, even as young a person as I can remember being, it resonated with me. You know, I think it resonates with everybody. The question is, how much defense do you have kind of built up? But it's always been a part of me. It's always spoken straight to my heart. And well, the hardest thing for me is to be a better blues listener than I am a blues player. You know, a lot of people think that there's an arrogance involved in me, I guess. And if they only knew that as I'm playing, the blues listener in me is going, probably not. Probably not right there. Probably not. You know, I appreciate the blues better than I can play it. And it's my life's work, in some ways, is to bring the level of performance up to the level of appreciation I have for it. Blues fans, God bless them for it, are incredibly defensive over the gold circle, you know. And they should be. And they make the fight fun, you know. Blues fans have a singular relationship with their music that in a world where everything becomes homogenized are kind of banding together in this final stance against, you know, people breaking into it going, that looks like fun, me likey, you know. And to that extent, I've had quite a challenge in saying, look, I'm the guy who wrote this song and that song and that song, and I'm not about to apologize for it, but I love these guys and this guy and that guy and that guy. And I like the fight. I like being a pop guy who moved into blues music. or a blues guy move back into pop music, however you want to see it. I like that nobody can agree on me once and for all. And I'm going to keep making decisions in my life that ensure that people can't agree on me, because I feel like when people agree on you, whether or not they agree you're the greatest thing or they don't, you get pushed to the side and you get labeled. You know, I don't want to be lionized. I don't want to be, at least not in my life. I don't want to be bronzed. Because when you get bronzed, you can't move. You know, so I'm excited by there always being a person to say, "Man, I don't like that guy," and another person to go hit him in the shoulder and go, "But wait a minute, but wait a minute." Let there always be that kind of a dialogue, you know. Austin City Limits seems not to pick by way of success. There's a lot of successful artists every year. You certainly don't have the most successful artists on every year, but what you have are the artists that have the most to offer. And that's what makes the show great. To me, I remember poring over Stevie Ray Vaughan's performances on those two Austin City Limits. That was my first exposure to it. You know, there's not a lot of real stuff left. And I'm responsible for the death of real as much as anyone else is, but it's nice to have a place where you can show up and you get read based on one variable, which is, can you play? Can you express yourself in a way? Can you play something on this show you didn't play on any other show and make it feel good? You know, and those are the great ones, not the most successful artists, the artists with the most to say on that stage. You know, I mean, I get up on that stage and I get shivers each time. You know, that's to me a full circle experience, because I grew up watching Stevie play that stage, and like to stand on that stage and see that backdrop. That's, you know what Austin City Limits says when you get in that room. You walk in that room and Austin City Limits says, "Don't lie to me." You know, and it's really nice to get up on a stage that says, "Don't lie to me." And from that comes a performance that's as honest as an artist can get, you know.
You have to keep it real on that stage because you can't get away with it
Nah,
otherwise. You know?
that stage is like a regulation height basketball net. You can't slam on it unless you can really slam a basketball, you know. You can get the net, but nobody cares, you know. That is regulation height. You're playing a regulation game, you know. And that's what I love about it. Those are those few things left in the world where you show up to that, it's Olympian, you know, it's an Olympian event, musically. The weirder and weirder the world gets, and trust me, it will get weirder and weirder, the more important Austin City Limits becomes, because it's unchanged in a completely distracted world. In a completely distracted world, where most of the media says, "Give me 30 seconds. We're going to put you on between this 30-second thing and this 30-second thing." Austin City Limits goes, "Play for an hour 15. What do you got?" People always want to ask these kind of doomsday scenario questions, you know, the death of music. Music gets more alive the more unreal life gets. It becomes more necessary. So I'm not frightened about the death of music at all. Look, it might get sold in a different way. It might get presented in a different way. You might go SHD. It might be super high definition one time. You can actually see what your favorite artists have eaten for lunch. Doesn't matter, you know. The message is the same. The needs are the same of the people who want to hear music, and the needs are the same of artists who want to express music. And it's a really changing world, and the things that don't change, the things that have been the same for 33 years, are the things that I gravitate to, and I know people gravitate to. You know?